Good morning, class. This is Ishita ma'am, and we are again back with the teaching learning video. So, we are going to do the literature lesson today, and it's the second chapter of your Beehive book, The Sound of Music, Part 2. But before I get into the detailing of the lesson, I'm going to clear out some of the things which I found the students to be in doubt for. So, any of the worksheets that are being given in the school website or that are provided to be solved by you all is not something that the teacher will be solving. The worksheets which are given after completion of each of the chapters, the students are going to solve them all by themselves. The answers which I'm going to provide, I will be giving this right with the question and the answer. But the PDF files or the worksheets that you see, that where the questions are given and where the answers placed are empty and you need to fill that up, those all you're going to do all by yourself and will be completing the work in the respective copy. For if it is the English literature work, you need to do that here in the literature copy, and if it's the grammar or the writing work, you must solve it there in your grammar or writing copy. This is not something that the worksheets the teacher will be providing you with the answers. You are going to solve them yourselves, and then when it's time, the teacher will be giving you the answers for it. I found the students giving me such comments to ask that whether they are going to solve them themselves or not. Worksheets are for the students to solve them. Okay, I guess I have stated it clearly and there will be no doubt for you regarding this. Okay, class. So today I'm going to introduce the chapter The Sound of Music Part 2. Part 1 was, of course, about a musical maestro who was none other than Evelyn Glennie. We have learned so many things about her and her geniusness or whatever work she has done or how she has contributed even though she was deaf and dumb. So these things are all very clear. Now today I'm going to do with part 2 of the chapter, an introduction to the sound of music. Here I would be talking about another musical maestro whose contribution is there in the Indian classical music or the Hindustani classical music, and who proved to be a bridge that united the Hindu people and the Muslim community, or the religions, the Hindu and the Muslim, to be bridged there because of him. So, and before I get into the detailing with him, let us know something more about other Hindustani classical musicians who have contributed individually regarding many of the Hindustani classical instruments also. Okay, so let's just start. So Hindustani musical instruments. See here, I have displayed so many of the Hindustani musical instruments where many of them is they are all known to you and some are new to you as well. So starting from my left hand side, see, we have sitar here, we have pakwaj, we have dilruba, we have shehnai, tabla, santoor, sarod, tanpura, and sarangi, bansuri, harmonium, and swarmandal. These are associated with the core of the Hindustani classical music. Without these instruments, of course, the classical music or the melody there or the unification of the instruments would have proved to be something very great. Okay, so now with the Hindustani musical instruments, we do have people who are associated with it, and they are quite excellent and they have excelled in their part of the field. So some of the instruments, the eminent people or the players who are there, their name is directly associated. Means once I call upon these names, it will all be very clear that you know that which instrument they have excelled in. They are so very famous. So the first is the sitar legend, late Pandit Ravi Shankar. Okay, his time period is from 1920 to 2012. So this man was a great legend playing the sitar, and it was something, it was a treat, a tribute right there, just a treat for the eyes, for the years also to witness him playing sitar in such a beautiful way. Okay, all the rags and all the things which he used to play, nobody could move their attention from his part of the playing. Okay, now this was the man whose name is directly associated with sitar. You cannot think of anything, or you cannot think of the sitar world apart from Pandit Ravi Shankar. Of course, he's from the family, and we have the family people also associated with him. Next come the maestro, the greatest living maestro or the master of Bansuri. Okay, the living master of Bansuri. When we call upon or we call about Bansuri, just one name that comes directly associated with it is of Pandit Hariprasad Chaurasia. He was born on 1st of July 1938 and presently living with 81 years. Okay, so he was again another one whose name goes synonymously with the playing of the Bansuri, which is again part of the Hindustani classical music. The next maestro we can think of or we can see here is Pandit Shivkumar Sharma. He is the famous santoor player. He was also the one who was a composer and a tabla player also. He was born 13th January 1938 and presently living with 82 years. He is again the one who could play santoor in a very spontaneous way. Okay, there's no, these people when you see in front of you, you find them playing effortlessly. Okay, and music for them is just like the line of life for them. Okay, and santoor is of course a difficult instrument to play, and of course it's a unique one which played an important role in the group of the Hindustani classical instrument. The next we have the Indian classical sarod player Shri Amjad Ali Khan Bangash. He was born on 19th October 1945 and presently living with the age of 74 years. This is quite an eminent face. You must have listened to him, and it's a great pleasure to listen to him playing. Even his sons these days, we find them playing also. A concert with the father and the sons together is a treat for everybody to witness. So here we find the sarod player whose name goes synonymously with the instrument itself. The next we have the famous Indian tabla virtuoso, composer and percussionist Ustad Zakir Hussain. Now this is a famous face, you know him. Even in ads also you get to see him, right? So even if you don't know what exactly he does, from now I guess it will be all very clear. But then with him, he is the son of Ustad Allah Rakha, the legendary tabla player. Okay, now this is Zakir Hussain, who was born on 9th March of 1951 and still living with 69 years of age. Okay, he has contributed greatly to the Indian classical music, the Hindustani Gharana, where he plays their tabla. Now this name, the person whose name indelibly linked with the woodwind instrument called shehnai. When we talk of shehnai, we get the name Ustad Bismillah Khan. The name that comes directly whenever we refer to shehnai. You know, shehnai is an instrument that takes a lot of effort while playing. You need to completely shehnai, bansuri, these kinds of instruments which are very airy, okay, and breathy instruments rather. There's a lot of effort that you need to put on while playing this. And here we have the maestro in front of us. So Bismillah Khan, who was born on 21st of March 1916 and died on 21st of August 2006. Okay, now this is the man about whom we are going to learn in our chapter, The Sound of Music. Okay, how he has contributed in shehnai, how his liking towards shehnai has developed, and what are the factors and what are the achievements that he has all got in his whole life. Okay, so Here we have this man who is, of course, a symbol of religious harmony. A symbol of religious harmony. The two religions of Hindu and Muslim. Bismillah Khan is a bridge to them. He is the bridge that has united the two very religions. Okay, so music has the power to unite and to eradicate any sort of binaries that we have in the society. Okay, music and education, these are the things that would erode all sort of binaries there in one particular society, in one particular India, in one particular world also. And Bismillah Khan is the living example for that. Okay, so here let us just start. But just one line for him is that he is the famous Indian musician whose name was indelibly linked with the woodwind instrument called shehnai. So here we will be learning in the chapter about shehnai, how did it originate, and about Bismillah Khan and his relation with shehnai and his contribution to the Indian music and especially to the Hindustani musical gharana. Okay, so let's just start. So here we have just to give you an idea that where exactly was he born and all such thing. So you see here that he was born there on 21st of March 1916 in Dumrao in Bihar, okay, which is there. And so here you see in the first map, I have given you the idea that where exactly you get Uttar Pradesh, where you get Allahabad, and all these places. These are the places which are important in Ustad Bismillah Khan's life. And also we have the map of Bihar where I have tried to show you where exactly is Dumrao located. Okay, you can see here in the map which is there in lower down. So Bismillah Khan was there coming out from a very small place of Bihar, and from there he has become an internationally famous icon and the Pandit or the Ustad rather, who has contributed immensely to this Indian culture or Indian music world. Now before I go into the detailing with the line-wise chapter, we will be knowing something about the pungi and the shehnai. Even your chapter starts with it. Because Bismillah Khan was associated with shehnai. So you must know that how did shehnai originate. So in the chapter also you'll get to know, I'm just giving a small briefing out it, that what happened in King Aurangzeb's court, it was pungi that was played. But the sound proved to be very much, the sound proved to be very much shrill there in the royal residence. Okay, and there pungi was banned. King Aurangzeb told pungi's sound cannot be tolerated and it must not be a part of the royal court. So there was a need to bring out a new instrument. But then what? It was a barber who thought of a new instrument. Okay, so he brought a pipe kind of a thing, making holes on it with two end openings, one broader end and one was a smaller one. And then he just came out there in the barber came there in the royal court and he played that instrument. The pipe and the holes were closed, some of them open, and there was a beautiful sound that came out of it. And everybody liked the sound. And from then, everybody agreed that this will be the new musical instrument. And then what should be its name? Okay, so after a lot of thought, it was taken out that as the instrument came out in Shah's court, so it will be named as Shah, and as it is brought out or invented rather by a barber who is called a Nai. So Shah's court and Nai, the barber. Together it made up shehnai. So this is how the shehnai name came up and pungi was replaced with shehnai in King Aurangzeb's court. Like you see here, Emperor Aurangzeb had banned the playing of a musical instrument called pungi in the royal residence because it has shrill, unpleasant sound. A barber of a family professional musicians decided to improve the tonal quality of pungi. He played the improved instrument before royalty, and everyone was impressed. And what was the new instrument that came up? It was the shehnai. This you will be knowing when I go with the detailing of the chapter line wise. Now, Bismillah Khan's life is greatly associated to the course of India, to the root soil of India, and especially it's the Varanasi, presently Benares, and the Mattha of Dumrao. Now, these two things you'll get reference when you go with the chapter, that these are the things which Bismillah Khan was greatly associated with. Of course, the banks of Varanasi, where he used to do the practice of his shehnai, and his great attraction, or I should say the great bonding with Dumrao, his birthplace, and its famous Mattha. You know what mattha is. Mattha is, of course, everybody knows about lassi. So mattha is, of course, made out of the cream of the curd there, and along with that, there's the dry fruit, the dry sweet, and everything associated. And it's greatly famous when you go and move with the regions of Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, there. So these two things, just remember, this you will get in the chapter as well, quietly related and closely attached with Ustad Bismillah Khan. Now also, Bismillah Khan's venture was there with the Bollywood film industry, and not only that, the Kannada venture also. He has taken part in two of the films. One is Goons Petition, which was made in honor of Bismillah Khan only. Okay, Dil Ka Khilona Hai Toot Gaya, the famous song, as composed and played by him, and the movie itself was dedicated on Bismillah Khan's playing of shehnai so beautifully. And also a Kannada venture, Sanadhi Apanna. These two were a part of Bismillah's life. But then he moved out from the film industry, saying that the fame and glamour and the artificiality of the film industry is not something that he could be accustomed with, or he is quite aware of it, or rather he could not adjust himself well with these glamour, fame, and artificiality of the silver screen. So this is to sum up, to introduce Indian music soulful maestro, the Bharat Ratna Ustad Bismillah Khan. What are the things, or what are the great achievements he has done in his life? We are going to read them. Or what are the civilian awards that he had received? All we are going to see, or all we are going to learn. But before that, it's all clear in front of you that he was the Bharat Ratna Ustad Bismillah Khan. So here are some of the important things about him which you must know once you move with the chapter, or before you move with your chapter. Now, India is one of the most prolific musicians, gaining worldwide acclaim for more than 8 decades. You know what a decade is? A span of 10 years. So 8 decades. So you can understand how long he has contributed to the Indian classical music and has become a worldwide acclaim, or a worldwide icon. Credited for taking shehnai to an international platform. Not only, as I told you, that not only was he contributing to the Indian classical music, but he took shehnai right there to the international platform. Everybody knew worldwide Bismillah Khan, not only in India but in the different parts of the world as well. He was a symbol of India's religious pluralism and a symbol of harmony for people of different faiths. Okay, people of different religion. Music, or his shehnai, was the one that could unite all of the people around the world. all the people of different religion, of different faith were all brought into one string because of his shehnai, because of his musical bond. Performed in, what are the places he had performed in? The US, Europe, Iran, Iraq, Afghanistan, Canada, West Africa, Japan, Hong Kong, Russia, and in many other cities across the world. Of course, a worldwide acclaim, performing in different parts of the world, truly. And then, despite his fame, he was often seen out and about the city in cycle rickshaws. So this shows that what should be your core. Okay, how much indebted should be you to the core, to the root, okay, to the root from where you have originated. So even he was the one who became an international figure. He was seen moving about in the city in cycle rickshaws. Okay, in case of Evelyn Glennie also we have heard, and now also we could see that the more you are there, the more you are shining up there, but your core should be not forgotten. Okay, you should stand there at the platform and you should know from where your origin is. Okay, this is something we must learn from these icons, from these people. Now, while describing this man, okay, there's something which I would say, like there is no substitution to hard work and dedication. Okay, the people who reached the zenith of life were endowed with such qualities, and such persons need to be down to earth in spite of achieving all the success in life. And this down to earth is the key word for Bismillah Khan. Okay, he never forgot his core, his attraction, his root there in the Indian soil. And this is how, or this is the reason he is there right at the top, right at the zenith of success. His performance at the Delhi's Red Fort on the eve of India's independence in 1947 made it a trend on every Independence Day. Okay, the independence, you will get to see or get to know it in the chapter also, that the first India's independence was greeted by the first citizen of India, and that was Bismillah Khan, who greeted India's independence with his shehnai on Rag Kafi. And then in 2001, he was awarded with the India's highest civilian honor, the Bharat Ratna. He was the one who was bestowed with many of these achieving awards, and Bharat Ratna is the most acclaimed one. Okay, so this is the introduction for Ustad Bismillah Khan, and I guess you get quite a very idea about this man before we could start with the chapter. So in my next video, I'll be starting with the reading and explanation of the chapter in detail. And before that, I'll request everyone to please read the chapter and then listen to the video and the explanation, so there is no problem with you there. Okay, and once you read it out, find the difficult meanings which you want or which you get stuck off, and try to find them out in the dictionary. And then please do follow the school websites for the different updates, and the YouTube channels and the YouTube links to follow the teachers with their lessons. Okay, so I'll end up it for today. So thank you and have a nice day.